on here till 9 o'clock tonight. And again, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
It's Carlton Crush Day, Carlton Crush Harvest Festival out here in Carlton at the Lower Park. Oregon Grapevine Media is here, Oregon Grapevine Radio, and we are loving every second of being out here today. With me from Gypsy Dancer Winery is none only than the Gypsy Dancer herself, Christine.
Hello.
Do you dance?
I like to dance, but that's not my profession or anything.
I know what your profession is. You make an amazing wine. Tell us about what inspired Gypsy Dancer.
Well, I started this brand in 2002 with my late husband, Gary Andrus. And Gary had incredible success in the wine industry, having started a winery in California in the Napa Valley in the 70s called Pine Ridge Winery. And then coming to Oregon in the 80s and starting Archery Summit, the first winery to put caves in and use gravity flow and charge $100 a bottle here in Oregon. You're welcome. And when I met him, he just felt like he didn't make wine anymore. He just managed managers. So we started Gypsy Dancer. And we were married. And he proposed to me on our first date.
Wow. And you said yes.
Well, I said I'd be engaged to him.
He must have been quite an amazing guy.
Yeah, he really was. Anyway, we were dancing when he proposed, and there's a really beautiful story to that. And anyway, that's the Gypsy Dancer.
We'll have to discover that later on down the road. Tell us about what you're pouring today here at the Harvest Festival Carlton Crush.
Well, I'm just a one-trick pony, and I just make Pinot Noir. That's all I do. I have a rosé of Pinot Noir this year, which is exciting. It is a totally dry Pinot Noir rosé, made in the French style, saignée, so it's not pressed. It's actually siphoned and fermented. And I also have two Pinot Noirs, a 2013 vintage Pinot Noir and a 2014. They're from the same vineyard in Amity, and so it really demonstrates vintage. So,
what has made rosé so just extraordinarily explosive in popularity the last few years?
Well, I think people are looking for a wine that they can drink that's not as complex, something that is a little bit easier to digest and to deal with. They don't have to have food with it if they don't want to have food with it. It's pretty simple, really. And in terms of a winery making rosé, why not? You definitely make money on it, and it is an easy proposition. You don't have to barrel it. It's released earlier.
Sure. What are your impressions of Carlton Crush? I know you've been involved in this organization for a while now. As you look around and you see the popularity growing each year and the fun that everybody's having, what would you tell folks about this event?
Well, really, it's a celebration of harvest. It's a celebration of abundance and everything that is happening in this valley. It's so exciting to see, particularly for me, the wine industry grow in this valley, and to see a celebration of that very narrow space of time during the year where we harvest the product that we've been working towards the whole year. So we spent a year trying to get to this moment, and we are there. And
this has been a good year in the sense that you haven't had a lot of extraordinarily hot weather or cold weather. Would you say it's been a real healthy type of environment for the grapes this year?
Sure. It has been hot. It's been pretty hot. I mean, there is no doubt about global warming and climate change. But it has been a good year. Harvest is a little bit early this year, maybe about 2 weeks before our normal harvest. It's going to be a great year. Yeah, a lot of fruit.
Do we find you out in the vineyards tasting the grapes? Do you get down in the trenches to that level?
Sure. I contract for grapes, so I work with growers. I have relationships with these people, and they grow the grapes according to my specifications. And one of the ways that transpires is by going out and looking at the vines and tasting the grapes and, monitoring the sugar levels and all of those things.
So it's kind of like when you've got a painter and he's painting a beautiful picture. I've always wondered, how do they know when it's done? How do they know when that last stroke of the brush is the final stroke? How do you know when a grape is just perfect?
Well, there's a lot of indicators that has to do with some technical things about the development of the seeds inside, and of course we measure the sweetness of the grapes in a measurement called Brix, B-R-I-X, and when you reach a certain Brix, then it's time to pick the grapes. Physiological development of the plant is also important. I'm looking for that because I do whole cluster fermentation, so hanging the fruit longer is more important for me than a sweet grape.
Okay, well, there you go. So now the only step left in this is for people to come down and try your wine and take home a bottle or two, yeah?
Indeed. Come on down.
All right, Carlton Crush, 2018, the Harvest Festival. Christine with Gypsy Dancer here today, and if you still still time, almost 5 o'clock, but there's still 4 hours left, so come on down. Thanks, Christine. Really appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Oregon Grapevine Radio.